What's good, YouTube? You already know who it is. Your boy Trey 57 Productions. Get with it or get left behind. And right now, this video is for my girl Ray's Life YT. I'm gonna put her channel down in the description. That way, y'all can go ahead over there and subscribe and watch some of her content. So I told her I was gonna explain to her about my experiences with ghosts or the paranormal, whatever you want to call it, because she says she is not a believer in that. And to each his own, I understand that. Okay. So, Ray, check this out, homegirl. Back in the day, this was back in like 2000, 2001. Um, Me, my brother, my father, and my dad's homeboy, my brother's girl, we were sitting in the kitchen playing spades, a card game at the table. And while we playing this card game, my dad had just made dinner, and if anybody wanted to eat, they could have eaten. But he said, we're going to sit down and eat at the table, and my brother's girl immediately said, well, if we got to eat down here, well, I ain't eating then. Just like that, I ain't eating then. And he was like, well, you know what? You don't have to eat then. She went on up the steps. I looked at him, he looked at me, and then I'm like, wow, really? I'm saying that mentally, like, wow, really? And my brother had went up the steps after his woman, and I guess he went up there to talk to her, asked her, yo, what's your problem? Why don't you want to eat? You don't have to, but it seemed like she had an attitude. All right. As we playing this game of cards, my father was across from me, and my father was across from me, and the kitchen counter was behind him, and the sink and all the cabinets. And my back was towards the steps. And my grandmother had one of these old school houses where if I turned around and if somebody going up the steps, you could see them going up, their legs and everything. And then once they get by the wall, you won't be able to see them. And she had this old pipe as a stair rail. It looked like a stripper pole, but it was at the bottom straight up, and then the handle went up to hold on to go up the steps. It was an old school house, but it was nice. And I'll never forget, it's like, once again, my dad was sitting across from me. Something shot out of the living room, went around me 2 times, went in the bathroom, then shot straight up the steps at lightning speed. It moved like curtains do if they're blowing in the wind. So if you got some curtains and they're blowing around, it moved like that, right? All right, but it was all black, and I felt it. I don't know if it was cold, I don't know if it was warm, but I felt it touch me. I seen it with my own eyes. And I immediately was just like speechless. Before I could say anything, my father looked at me and said, did you see that? All right. He said, did you see that? And I looked at him and I said, no, did you see that? And my father was, or he was heavy in his Bible, and he still is to this day. But he said, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go get my Bible and go upstairs and pray over your brother. And I was like, I ain't going up there. Because whatever went around me went up the steps. My dad's boy and the family members that was in there was like, what are y'all talking about? What did y'all see? Nobody else seen this. See, once again, like you said in that comment, Rays, everything isn't for everybody. Everybody don't see certain things, and that's a fact. You're absolutely correct on that. Everything isn't for everybody. Everybody has their own time to witness and see things in their own personal relationship with spiritual world. But my father looked at me and he said, did you see that? And I said, no, did you see that? And I thought, coming up as a young buck, when I was young, coming up, I've heard stories of my grandmother and them talking about spirit world and stuff like this and that, and it went in one and out the other, but it did terrify me as a kid to hear these stories, but I never seen nothing. And they would always talk of seeing these apparitions and stuff, and I'm not going to say I didn't believe it. My mind wasn't, I was too focused on doing other things. Okay, but until I actually seen it. So the spirit world does exist. Ghosts, spirits, silhouettes of what, call it whatever we want. I seen it, and trust me, it was terrifying. It happened so fast, so fast. Me and my dad caught that at the same time. And the crazy thing is people say spirits can't hurt you. That's not true. That's not true. Well, a ghost will pass through that wall. Yeah, they might do all of that, go through a wall and come back. But listen, I felt this. They didn't feel the heat or the cold, but I felt a force touch me when it wrapped around me and shot and boom and went back up the steps. What I wanted to say was that, yeah, it looked like, this might sound silly, but I'm sure you've seen cartoons and movies where they speak of the Grim Reaper, the dude with the weed whacker that he used to cut down bushes in the cornfield, like a bushwhacker tool, but with the hook on it. So it looked like that. That's how fast it went. That's the only description I could give you of what that looked like. But it was real. It wasn't nothing that Hollywood made. It was nothing that this is something that you can't, how can I say this? Like, it's something I would never, ever want to see again. And I got a lot of stories to tell about the things that I've seen and things that have happened to me in the past couple years. And like what they call a sleep paralysis, where you sleeping and not sleeping, where you can't move, you dead awake, but you can't move. And it's something there that happened to me 3 times. But I don't want to bore you with this, but this happened back in 2001, 2002, somewhere around there when my dad's homeboy was still living. It was terrifying. It's something I don't ever want to see again. And I'll never forget my father. He used to always say, don't talk about evil things. Don't talk about, because you'll conjure it up. And I believe that now, and so if you, and I'm sure you're a smart woman, you're not gonna put yourself in a position where you could get hurt. So what I'm trying to say is that conjuring up, you could be amongst some people and there's some riffraff going on. Get out of there. Get out of there. Because it's brewing. The energy is brewing. Then things happen. I think you know where I was getting at with that. But I got a lot of stories I want to tell you. I wanted to say I posted this video like 4 times, and for some strange reason, YouTube keep taking it down. Like they don't want me talking about it. Maybe it's not entertainment for them. But this story isn't entertainment. It's not. It was terrifying to me. If I'm feeling up to it, I'll tell you what happened with my dead awake experience where I couldn't move. That was just, oh my God, it was a nightmare. And the crazy thing is when I do tell you about that, I could now, if it happened, I could feel it coming on. And I'm gonna end this video by saying this, and then I hope you want to hear it after I say this. How I know the sleep paralysis is coming on, where it got me in a paralyzed state where all I could do is see, and I seen this dark silhouette, just real hazy, doing this back and forth, like not a ghost, just a dark shadow of a silhouette of a man. Okay, just right in front of me, but I couldn't move. I was so scared. But how I know it's coming on is I'll hear this buzzing in my ear. My eyes are open. Even if my eyes aren't open and I'm sleeping and I'm laying there and I'm about to fall asleep, I hear zzz, zzz, zzz. That's the only thing I could, that's what my mind, and that's what my ears are hearing is zzz, zzz. And it's like I'm going in and out of my dream and back into reality, like I'm waking up, falling asleep. So it's trying to come. So maybe if I would have fell asleep, it would have got me, then I would have woke up, and then boom, I would have had that. But the sleep paralysis, I had it, is real. I was dead awake. I'm looking and just can't move. I'm looking at everything. I just could not move. That's some scary. Oh my God, that's scary. But anyway, blessings to you, Ray's Life, YT. Great channel. You got a subscriber here, and I'm going to be watching more of your content. And I hope you enjoyed this long story. I'm sorry I said it was going to be short, but it wasn't. I love to talk. I think you can see that. But to anybody out there that's watching this video, subscribe to Rae's Life YT. All right. That's RAE swoosh SLIFE space YT. Bow. Follow her channel. And then the camera don't stop.